Hey, how's it going, everybody? My name is Seamus. You can call me schweem, and I'm a developer. I want to start making some videos here on YouTube. Today, I just wanted to kind of sit down and tell you guys a little bit about myself, talk about the kind of content that you can expect to see from me here on the channel. And yeah, without further ado, I guess we can just kind of get into it. To kind of describe myself simply, I like to make things. I consider myself a game developer. I've been doing it for a very long time. I started with Game Maker many years ago. Eventually I made the transition to Unity, and more recently, last year and a half, 2 years, I've made the transition to Godot, and that's been really good. I have no major complaints there. I am a student. I'm finishing up my last semester of undergrad in computer science right now, and I'm starting my first semester of my master's in applied data science. Generally speaking, some data science interest, software engineering, software development interest. I'm also interested in hardware, specifically low-cost kind of stuff, things like Raspberry Pis and the Pine phone right here behind me right now. More on that later. I'm also just generally interested in computers. Really enjoy using Mac OS these days. I'm also a big fan of Linux. Recently I've been playing around with Arch on the Pine phone. I've been playing around with Nix OS, and I use Ubuntu on my desktop for my daily driver. I guess just a little bit about me when I'm not behind a computer. I like to spend time outside. I like bugs. I also really like cars, like air-cooled Volkswagens. Yeah. Right now, I'm working on my first full release, Pathfinder. It is the follow-up to the demo that I released about a year and a half ago, Pathfinder the Demo Log. I made that in Unity. Since then, in partial satisfaction of my undergraduate thesis, I have remade all the content from the demo, as well as expanding and finishing the remaining features in Godot to get Pathfinder done. That will be releasing in the next month or so. You can keep an eye out for it on my itch. That is schweem.itch.io. Pathfinder is a pretty simple platformer game. Its difficulty kind of lies in its simplicity. There are 3 different sets of levels. Each one kind of has a core theme in the platforming. You have to overcome a central mechanic as well as master the abilities that you have at your disposal. It's a simple game. I'm just looking to get something out so I can start working on new projects here in the future. Outside of Pathfinder, released a couple other projects over the past year or so. Made a deliberate effort to try and get more out to the world. Some examples of that: 8 stocks I made over winter break, I believe last year. It's a Slenderman style game. You play as this small woodland creature, and you're trying to collect 7 berries without being eaten by this large bird creature. It's simple, it's kind of unfair, it can be kind of chaotic. I think it's a good time. I haven't returned to the game, made any updates or changes or tweaks. Generally speaking, the game was just kind of my way of seeing how to do like billboarding, that kind of pseudo 3D effect with sprites in Godot. Really simple, pretty straightforward, and it was a good time. Other than its stocks, there's also Modulate. This one was for the No Words Jam towards the end of 2023, so there's no words spoken or written, and that includes on the itch page. There's also no conventional graphics. Everything is just colored rectangles, dramatic shadows, and a lot of the kind of ambience is created by the music. It was pretty fun. I think this one was a 48-hour project, if I remember correctly, 72 hours tops. That was cool. If you're interested in just kind of like a short little platforming experience that's kind of more about the vibes, you might be interested in checking out Modulate. Outside of those games that I just mentioned, the projects are going to be on my personal website, which is schweem.neocities.org. Games like Bracken Survivor. Not sure if there's actually anything else up there. Bracken Survivor. That's a game I made with my friend last year. It's on his itch page. You can't cross-post on itch, so instead we have it done that way. You can expect more of that in the future. Anything that's not going to be on my itch will be on my website, or vice versa. Outside of my interest in game dev, like I mentioned earlier in the introduction, I'm a big fan of just general projects with both hardware and software. I'm probably not going to go into too much detail on all these here, but just to name a few of them, I made a plugin to allow for the use of Pi-wall color schemes with Obsidian. If you're not familiar with both those pieces of software, Obsidian is a markdown text editor, and Pi-wall is a really nice little piece of software for your terminal that lets you generate color schemes for your system based on images. Perhaps I'll make a video on that sometime in the future, but it's a great, just kind of nifty little tool. And you can set it up with a lot of different things. Did some experiments with the Google Coral Edge TPU that is kind of representative of the larger blanket category of my kind of budget stream setup. I used some Python to set the Coral up as a virtual green screen device. So it removes the background and just kind of like uses image segmentation to just extract you from the frame. Elgato has a proprietary tool that I think you can do the same thing with, and it was kind of expensive. I just wanted to see like what you could get out of something like that, and honestly, pretty surprising, not too bad. Other than that, the rest of my setup, not particularly interesting, but I do think that it's kind of fun. I've got the Pi 5 with the Raspberry Pi touchscreen set up as a stream deck right now. That's been pretty cool. It allows me to manage all my OBS scene transitions, starting and stopping, recording and streaming. And with screen blanking, it turns off. I just have to tap it to wake it up. Very convenient, nice little device to have. Other than that, I'm using an Ethernet bridge to link my desktop to my laptop, enabling me to do low latency hyperdrive desktop video streaming from the desktop to the laptop. That allows me to have a dedicated stream device without a capture card, and honestly, it's been pretty good. For this, I was using an old Elgato HD60, and performance is pretty comparable with this setup. It requires about half as many connections, no HDMI, no anything like that, and so that's been nice. Again, that's something I'd be interested to make a video on in the future if there's interest. These kind of like low cost, kind of budget, what you may already have at home builds are honestly surprisingly viable these days. And I would love to kind of explore that some more. In that same kind of train of thought, I would love to talk about the PinePhone in its own video sometime soon. I actually have two of them. I have this one here with the keyboard case, and wow, that one's great. There's also a 3 gig Convergence edition, which sits just a little bit further back there on my desk. That one's currently non-operational. Some kind of issue with the flash memory right now. I can't get it to boot. Enough interest or just enough past time, I'll probably get to it and figure it out. But I would love to talk about the setup that I have going here on the 2 gig one with the keyboard case and a minimal arch install. That's been a really fun device to have around. I haven't really done anything serious with it because what are you going to do? I think it's like a 1.3 gigahertz, like little proprietary ARM chip. It's 2 gigs of pretty slow RAM. Like, it's not a powerhouse. It's not any kind of like productivity machine, but it is pretty fun. The touch works, the sound works, the camera works, but I have it set up as just like a normal mini PC. Text editors, minimal browsers like Qt browser are honestly surprisingly usable there. I've got i3 set up on there, and just generally trying to be mindful of using like cheaper software. Just keeping things minimal has been a blast. If there's interest, I would love to talk more about the PinePhone in the future. That was a really enjoyable experiment. All the information for kind of getting all that together was spread all over the place. I think it'd be really cool to kind of take this as an opportunity to try and address that, maybe make some kind of definitive guide for PinePhone usage in big 2025. So some closing thoughts, just generally kind of speaking what to expect from me in the future, kind of this video moving forward. I want to start talking about some of my game dev projects on here. I want to talk more about Pathfinder as we get closer to release, and I would also love to talk about some of my other games, both ones already released on my itch, as well as some of the projects that are not released. Somewhere mentioned on both my personal website and my itch page, if there's several projects that just haven't really seen the light of day, I would love to use this as a space to try and greenlight them, see if maybe there's a future for some of those other projects that I'm working on. Outside of game development, I would really love to just kind of keep sharing some of these things like the stream setup, the PinePhone, some of these various other projects that I like to take on. I'm trying to get NixOS running on my Raspberry Pi 5. That sounds like it should be a pretty simple task, and it's just kind of weird. It's been kind of on the back burner for a while, but I would love to put some more attention into that. Generally speaking, I just kind of want to start sharing some of the things that I'm doing If I come across any unanswered questions or things that I have to work particularly hard on myself, I think this would be a cool place to share those things. Appreciate you for taking some time out of your day to listen to me ramble here for a little while. I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of stuff we can do here. But with all that out of the way, I'm really looking forward to uploading content here on the channel. If anything that I said interested you today or kind of resonated with you, I encourage you to check out the subscribe button down below. It helps me get an idea of how many of you are interested in sticking around, and it helps you stay connected with when I do start getting the content out. Thank you very much, and I will see you in the next video sometime very soon.